as is James Hurrell. And I believe they are the only people who have looked at today as a new start, you could say.
Klose on throw is in a good position to get his first leg on the scoreboard. And not too much pressure applied there from Vampire either, so Klose with 6 darts, maybe more from here. He'll hope to maybe wrap it up in 3.
He's a very efficient player, as Daniel. Doesn't mess around by changing his rhythm and his pace or his demeanour. What you see from him on that 1 or 2 checkout is what you're going to get rhythm-wise. Straight up, back and through. £30,000 for the winner over the next 3 days.
Yeah, and that effect, well, that of course guarantees you a passage into the European Championship as well. It was around about £17,000 the cut-off last year. But of course, this revamped format might have an impact on that this year. We can dwell on that and assess that over the course of the weekend as well.
I think by the time we go to Rosmalen in the Netherlands at the end of May, I think we'll figure out what this format is doing to people's rankings in different orders of merit. But that 171 for Berry gives him a possibility of 4-1. It very much is a possibility now that Daniel does not get a shot at double here.
Berry, you require 52.
Yeah, 171, nice approach play. Needed the slip up from Klose, but Vampire to move will take another big step towards his passage into the second round, and he's finished that off very nicely. It was all about the 171, needed the slip up from Klose.
I think it was a very apt place to get that as well, because that's where he won the World Cup with John Henderson. Yeah. This could be huge. For a second 180. Pressure. He liked that as well.
Just when Vampire looked to be making good strides towards the finish line in this one as well. Another puff of the cheeks, and Klose waiting in the wings on 64 if Vampire fluffs his lines with this one. He's taking his time as well, isn't he? Another exhalation from Vampire. Oh, likewise, 17. Almost a carbon copy of the visit Klose had. Goes for the 45 instead to leave double 10.
72. Daniel, you require 64.
It's a very different lie on that 17, but he was never going to go for the 25 in that spot. As for Klose, surely he's got elite tops. I'm amazed.
Well,
he's just hit tops out of his last 2 shots. Should have left it again, in my opinion. Doesn't matter whether you like double 16. Go for what you're hitting. And that could be a fatal error based on what we see in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah. That could be the moment where Vampire just seizes the initiative once again. Double 5. And yeah, that little bit of breathing space once again. Well, Klose has given himself a shot if Vampire cannot find this 1-2-1. Treble 17. Well, Klose will return.
97. Daniel, you require 127.
All or nothing moment here for Klose.
127 to keep the game alive.
Way off on the treble 19. That was a long way north as well.
55.
That was not a reassuring dart. And Vampire, 3 darts in hand, 3 clear shots at double 12 for a passage into the second round of the Belgian Darts Open on day 1 of the 2024 European Tour here in Visa. And Vampire once again takes care of business in the opening round, in the opening match.
And there are 16 players in the practice room potentially at one time. You're looking around as if to say, who in here is in form? And everybody knows. It's almost like a silent mist that floats around. And if it was the middle of last year when Ryan was walking through the curtain, people would have been saying, ooh, Ryan's playing well at the minute. Are they saying that right now? Maybe not as much. And that's the second time Gilding's had a crack at a 160. It's the second time he's missed it.
116.
Under pressure.
70.
Ryan Joyce, this is usually where he thrives. Great dart for double 8. Yeah, really nicely done by Ryan Joyce.
It's almost like you're building the wall to the left-hand side of the game area and just waiting for that long 4-piece thing to come along. And when it does, as long as you get it in the right position, drop it in, everything goes well. At the minute, this game needs something like that.
Well, it might be on the way in the next few seconds, because Joyce has left himself the biggest finish in the game, but Gilding, show us your thumb! Oh, never mind.
Maybe the second most famous thumb in darts behind Krzysztof Kachuk.
Oh, I would argue more famous, but you do you. Oh, nice.
134.
Now then, there's pressure on this. 6-visit leg likely, but for who? Working his way up to tops. Oh, very, very nicely done. Well, if he could hit tops like that a little bit earlier on in the game. Of course, if Ryan Joyce does win this, it's a repeat of the final of when he won his first PDC title back in 2020.
Averaged 100 in that final, didn't he?
He did, played very, very well. Oh, it's another great first start. You can just see how he runs out of room there. If wanting to lay it directly on top, and there's only so much room for those darts.
See from that camera angle as well just how much they skid off each other, almost landing like a plane. You want it to land softly. You don't want that collision to be too aggressive. You want it to just glance off the barrel, and that's why he's got those tapered barrels, because it makes it a little less bouncy when they hit each other. But he's bouncing right now. Forget about your 5-visit leg. Let's have a 4. That's a 12 darter. So maybe I'm in the wrong.
Yeah. Well, Ryan Joyce is looking great for a return to Blackpool.
Yeah, he hasn't been at Blackpool in a few years. I think when he got there for the first time in 2020, after winning that first PDC title, he didn't have a great match play, but then seemed to tail off since then. But he has got the impetus in this one. 6 darts from 110 will get him the win to play against Chisnell tomorrow on what will be a very, very loud Saturday here in Belgium.
Yeah, well, Gilding has faded a little. One brilliant leg from Ryan Joyce, a 12 darter, but then he was able to break in 18 darts. And now it's match darts for relentless Ryan Joyce. And Gilding, the former finalist, is beaten just a few days after being unable to defend his UK Open title. He's unable to go on a run here in Visa again.
Yeah, born in November 2007, round about the time that Luke Littler was perhaps throwing his first 180. And there's a 180, bang on cue from Lucas Wenig as well, the first of the match, and Wenig well and truly in control of this. Look at this absolute chasm in the scoring in the first leg. I'm not going to use the word ominous just yet, but
I think you just have.
Wow, inadvertently.
49.
Well, it's bound to be a nerve-wracking experience. I mean, it is some throwing action he's got.
140.
There's a lot of moving parts there, even to my untrained eye. And it looks a little bit off balance as well. But Wenig has opened things up with a 13 darter. I'm pleased that Van Putt is so far having the chance to show us what he can do in front of his home crowd. I would have hated for him to lose this one 6-0.
You just get the feeling that with everything about him as a player, lends himself to being a bit streaky. A good 5 minutes might be enough for Van Putt to get himself back in front. Set this up and take it out, and he levels the game. Wenig has not been good enough to put the young man away and be out of sight in this match. Not yet.
Not yet, no. Wenig looking at tops for a 104, and that will do nicely. Dan Dawson nodding his head in approval after that one, and yeah, there's that little bit of daylight that Wenig has been searching for. It's a good job of qualifying for these early European Tour events.
He has, and he will hope that that gets him into those spots where he just gets given a position. But even then, once you've got those, you've then got to win your first match to get your money on your ranking. So the European Championship and staying up in those spots, it's a minefield. It really is.
That's the double-edged sword with this new revamped format for qualifying for the European Tour event. Obviously, it's had a lot of reaction. 152 for Van Putt. Wenig in position to extend his lead.
65. Lucas Uruguay 47.
Looking at a very manageable 47. 2 bites at double 16. Come on, he says. That was wayward. Closer, but no cigar.
Not happy with that at all, Lucas Wenig. I'm just going through the throwing action, not convinced at all he got that right. Bullseye! Oh. Born Van Put!
Born Van Put. 99.
But 2 visits away, potentially, from winning his first game on the Euro Tour as a tour card holder. In the new era of Lucas Wenig. Oh, and this is going to be good. It is excellent once again from Wenig. His second 171 to go with a couple of 180s.
And having started off with a 13-darter, he may well wrap it up with a 14-darter. 44 points away. Van Put is looking at the big fish just in case, but double 16 here for Lucas Wenig for the match inside. With 1 dart at double 8s. And we'll never know if Van Put would have taken out that 170. That would have been another story to write home about as well. But it's the end of the road for the 16-year-old. It's back to school on Monday for Born Van Put. Anyway, back to the here and now. It's a good job Chris Murphy's not here, that's all I can say.
He'd say, come on Wednesday. Oh, it's Jackie. It's about time he turned up. I think he's been late. Maybe he's getting into gear because he's going to need to be in full voice for Theatre Voss a little bit later on.
Shanghai for Gurney for the opener. Wattimena could threaten with this 145.
145.
Big ask, but it's on. Double top.
Oh,
J-Dub. Nice big hit and a great start to this match with a big ton plus out at the German Darts Championship. That was 5 years ago? My word.
Yeah. Time flies and all that. Yeah, he had, I mean, I mentioned his performance in qualifying. He actually featured in 11 of last year's 13 European Tour events. The only 2 he missed were Prague and the European match play. Made the semi-finals in Graz as well, which was a little bit of a bolt from the blue because he only won 1 match on the Euro Tour prior to that last year.
If my eyes don't deceive me,
86.
Gurney is using slightly different equipment today to what we would liken him with in previous seasons. This is double top, and it's another leg for Jermaine. Definitely got the bit between his teeth here, and 2 legs, 2 ton plus checkouts. Oh, well, Born Van Put has finished his work, and he's got the rest of the off school, so he's gone into the crowd to sign some autographs.
I was going to say, this is what he can expect, maybe, for the rest of the weekend.
Well, getting his photograph with Wario.
There's no point going back to school at this stage of the day. Just gone 2:45 in the afternoon local time.
I bet it wouldn't be too born to be wild. Oh, Jermaine is having Gurney for breakfast. What is going on here? Good performance from Jermaine, and Darrell's just not getting to the finishing zone enough.
Well, 13 dart breaker throw potentially in the making here for Wattimena. That's exactly what he's got. I mean, that was absolutely dead centre in that double 16 bed. If he'd bisected the double 16 bed, I'm pretty sure he was.
It's only the matter of Ross Smith waiting, a rather talented player who has somewhat funnily on social media this morning called this a local game for him because it's closer to get to Belgium for him from England than it is to get to Wigan. You might want to hit this, Darrell.
Well, that has certainly applied the pressure. Wattimena in position once again. 96 away here. Can't find the treble that would have left a crack at double 18. And Wattimena, well, not many people would have had this one down for a whitewash today, but it is a whitewash. It is 6 without reply for Jermaine Wattimena.
Is it in the semi-finals against Danny Noppert?
That was a great session of darts.
It was. But yes, the seedings have not changed, so that's all the same.
81.
What has changed is that if you're in the top 16 in the overall order of merit, so the world rankings, and you're not in that 16 in the seed, you get a place in the first round.
But you still have to win your first game to get the ranking money.
Yes, you do. And they will keep on going down that Pro Tour list. They basically, the argument the PDC have made is that there are too many qualifiers in these events, and they want to make sure that the biggest names who work their way up the rankings have a chance to play in them. Now, you might find this year some of them start turning it down once they've got some money won. We'll see. Double 16 for an 11-darter. And this is a real seesaw battle here because Luke Woodhouse is by far the better player in the opening couple of legs. James Hurrell upped it, and then Woody has just produced the best leg of the match.
He's very buoyed by the fact that that, to him, looks like progression. Hurrell took out 3 players en route to this tournament. Karel Sedlacek, Matthew Dennant and Ian White in the final game. That looked like a really good dust-up where it was 6 legs to 5. And that's what you got to do to get in tournaments like this, and because it's the only one he's in, he's going to have to make the most of it.
Ooh, now that's a slip. That could open the door if Woodhouse can find a couple of trebles. You're going to stay there. No, he went to the 18s. And he knows the mistake he's made. Single 18 would have left 160. As it is, he's not on a finish. Hurrell can do whatever he likes here. Okay, I don't mind it.
I'm interested in that because he does like tops. So why not try and find a route to it? Doesn't matter when you're doing things like that. Look at 95 as a 3-dart out.
But ultimately, Luke Woodhouse has got a real chance here to get a break of throw and open up a 2-leg gap again.
Hasn't had it since 2-0.
134.
As far as approach shots are concerned, that's up there. But he's going to have to find a little bit of traversing the oche now, because that single 20, wherever it is, he's going to have to move. Upright angle of attack, unless he feels a bit frisky 60. Going for a Gurney flatty.
Yeah, well, 60. Not something we saw Darryl Gurney make any use of. Didn't get any chances. Hurrell handed one of the flights he'd lost. And he's going to take a step to the left.
Double 10 for a huge step forward.
50.
But it's still a big ask for Hurrell. We saw old school approach thinking in a previous visit in this leg. Is he even going to think about the 19s here? He isn't. And that tells you that he's got a very traditional method of winning legs. 96. Hasn't really subscribed to the new school attitude of don't waste the last dart kind of counting. And he's 5-3 down now. The last time he was 2 behind, Dan. First Hungarian to ever win a European Tour match.
Yeah, did not deal with the hostile crowd very well. A theme that would return the Grand Slam of darts for Ricardo. Here, won't be an issue for him.
I actually think they were booing his moustache. No booing in this game. The doubling has been sensational. And Luke only needs one more to be through.
Luke, you require 88.
88 needed for the match. The 18s. And the bullseye to win it. Luke Woodhouse with a sensational display of finishing. Finishes off James Hurrell's Euro Tour debut. It was perhaps a little bit much to ask to go for the bull with that last dart. A 25 would have got him down to a finish.
100.
But Dolan only getting himself down to 128 anyway, so Strobbe will quite fancy having a couple of visits from here, but is that going to be enough? There is a lot of high darts from Strobbe.
58. Brendan, you require 128.
You feel with Dolan, though, he could do with just injecting some pace into this. Maybe a 128 checkout would be the way to do it. Well, he's got the treble 20. And he's got the bullseye now. Can he do something with that? It has been alarmingly pedestrian so far. Dolan looks like a man who knows he's going to win this match, but
they've both been leapfrogged by Josh Rock in the Northern Irish #1 stakes as Dolan looks chops and misses it.
Stephen, you require 160.
But it is an intriguing battle for the World Cup.
Yeah.
Looks like a straight shootout between Dolan and Gurney to partner Josh Rock. So very high. So many of his darts, Strobbe.
$60. Brendan, you require 40.
Well, this would take him halfway there.
20.
Well, that is now 2 from 2 from 11 for Brendan Dolan. I mean, Dolan is a player who is perhaps fine-tuned to the art of winning ugly, but I don't think he'll ever win as ugly as this.
He might not win, because that is 101 checkout. Steven Strobbe gets his first leg on the European Tour, and Brendan Dolan.
$140.
Well, if he has a leg like the one he had in the first leg, Strobbe might get an opportunity. I doubt it very much. I think Dolan has learned his lesson, but I'm not so convinced.
78.
Yeah, good luck with that.
68.
16 for double.
52.
More misses, but this one cannot be punished by Strobbe. Plenty of players turn up to the host nation qualifier. Reminder that with the new qualification rules this year, we will have 4 host nation places at every single European tour. They're not dishing out 2 to the highest ranked players on the tour from those host countries. As Dolan makes it 5-2, so gets a spot in the opening
41.
round. He'll face Stephen Bunting, the 2 winners of the most recent major titles facing off. Bunting, the Masters winner, Dimitri, the UK Open. And Mike De Decker will kick this evening's session off against Chris Landman,
who we bumped into last night at the steakhouse. Tucking in he was, filling himself up.
What a way to prepare.
Well, Dolan, sorry.
It started with a 26 darter this. It could end with an 11 darter.
60. Brendan, you require 81.
Yeah, and it could end with Dolan having really dragged his average up. He's 3 from 4 in his doubles in his last few legs, and he's tidied things up very nicely indeed. And there we see the yin and the yang, the 26 darter to open things up, the 11 dart leg to round things off. There is this sizable population in Germany from the former Yugoslavia. He lives in Darmstadt in Germany. He works in a bar, and effectively, once the bar is closed, the dartboard is his, and he puts in the hours on that practice board. Not unusual for him to stay when the bar closes at midnight, say, he's still there 5, 6 in the morning, putting in the hours on the practice board.
That is commitment.
Yeah.
68.
I'm not sure about that last dart, though.
65.
He's got a bit of support here this weekend as well. Let's see what Dobey can do here. Double 16.
Well, these are the chances that you've got to take, but I have to say, because of the last dart, this should have been a little easier. However, take that, scrub it, and it's 1-1. But he's got a rather important job in Croatia, has the old Tonch.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went for Mayor, didn't he?
Ah. So
He's a very qualified solicitor.
A bit like the Vitaly Klitschko of Croatia.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're watching Tonch, you want to see you back. Come on.
Lucas Wenig watching on. He secured his passage into round 2 earlier today. Dobey looking at 164, but 6 darts from here for Chris.
432.
Doesn't get any better than that. Great thinking, great execution. Leaving his favourite double.
433.
And to get the lead again after losing the previous leg in 14 darts. He takes that one better.
Well, I've got to say, if Dobey wins this match, and there's no guarantee that he will, but if he does, he's well versed in that. I must quickly crowbar this in, information-wise, FYI. Grbavac, the Croatian word, translates into English as hunchback. Now, I'm not saying the bell is tolling just yet for Romeo, but it might well be soon if he's not careful, because Dobey's looking at 150 for a 5-2 lead. 93 away.
90.
I don't think Romeo wants to be an angry hunchback at the minute. He needs to punch back.
That's exactly what he needs to do. But you just get the feeling he's running out of steam a little bit here. Dobey has 6 darts from here for a 5-2 lead. Taking care of business on his throw. Won't want to mess about on the doubles too much longer. He needs something reassuring here, and he gets it Didn't want to be hanging around too much longer. That could have been a real concern for Dobey. It was all over the shop. There was a lot going on.
Well, you can see that the front foot and the back foot of Romeo rise when he throws, very much like Aspinall does.
Yeah.
You've either got to embrace that or nip it in the bud quickly.
428.
Well, these might be the last darts that Grbavac throws this weekend, because Dobey is looking at 36.
88.
The finishing has picked up ever so slightly after that wayward leg. And very reassuring for Chris Dobey to finish off with a very plum attempt on double 18 as well.
Yeah, it really is. Can't say enough good things about Jan van Veen. He is a serious, serious talent. And while he did lose in round 1 on the Euro Tour the first 3 times he appeared on it, he has always won his first round game since then. Ooh, that's a filthy one.
Well, if he gets a 39, he'll forget it. But not getting a dart at double with a 76 outshot is a really big error. If Harrison takes 166 in 6, Kian will taste bitterness.
Got a shot. And he's taking it out. Andreas Harrison. Dirty Harrison. Profiting from that dirty dart from Jan van Veen that cost him a chance to win the leg. On throw as well, that is a break.
Because if it's Gary versus Andreas, obviously the present day is the now. Go back to the beginning. Gary's Lakeside debut was against a Swede called Stefan Naj. And Gary didn't play to the best of his ability, and Stefan won the game.
Well, he rarely did at the Lakeside. That's why his darts are in the lake still.
I wonder if they still are.
I'm sure they will be, unless somebody's fished them out.
So, someone will find them eventually. Maybe some sort of, you know, someone with a...
An archaeologist?
Yeah, them's the guys.
How about this? Double top for a 4-0 lead. How about this? Andreas Harrison, he's gobbling up opportunities.
We've mentioned in the previous match, because Dobey will take on Noppert tomorrow. Well, it's been a long time between drinks for Andreas, with those moulded kite-shaped flights and that really tapered barrel. It's the kind of setup that not many people could get along with, but it works for him.
140.
Could be 5-1 in as little as 30 seconds, and he's kept whoever is supporting Jan van Veen here in Visa very quiet.
124.
He probably has 2 visits from here. Does he go 14 and ball? He does. That leaves double 11. Andreas Harrison. This is the best we have ever seen from the Swede. Possibly by a Nordic and Baltic player, but I'm not sure about that. I don't think Darius has popped in anything bigger than this.
What about Madders?
89.
Madders has thrown I think he might have thrown 108 actually. That's a good shot.
Is that against Jeffrey Desvan in Denmark?
I think that might, possibly. Yes, that's a good shout. But it's right up there with the best we have ever seen from a player from this region. And he is threatening another 12-dart leg.
And it's on a 1-3-2 that was laid up for Jan van Veen to get his only leg. There's going to be no laying up here. Past Andreas the 3-wood.
Treble 19 and ball. To wrap it up sensationally. Andreas Harrison! What a display! What a victory! And even the European Championship semi-finalist Jan van Veen could do nothing